Hello, this is Talon with Old Guy Stuff, and I'm going to give my 1 year good, bad, and ugly review of the PowerPint by SOG. Okay, it did not come with the case, but I wanted a case for it, so I made one. Haven't decided if I'm going to make a video on how to make the case or not. Okay, the case can be a vertical carry or horizontal carry depending on how I want to put these belt loops. Okay, I do like to keep a paracord thing on here just because it makes it easy to pull out of the case. I realize that this has a pocket clip, but I don't like these pocket clips because I've had them mess up a lot of pockets, and I've even had some fall off of my pockets. So I don't like the pocket clips. I'd rather go with the case. Okay, so some basics. All the tools are accessible from the outside of the tool. Okay, in other words, you don't have to open it up to pull the tools out like some multi-tools are going to do. Now, while I've got it open though, their preferred method for closing all of the tools on this are going to be to open it up, depress this black lever like this, and that's going to let you unlock the tool and close it. Okay, it's rather inconvenient though. Okay, I'm going to show you that in just a moment. And we're going to start on this side right here, the side opposite of the clip. Okay. First, you'll notice that we do have these little opening assist things. That's good. Problem is, though, it sucks. Okay, I'm going to show you why. Okay. I got this one. It's half open, so go ahead and open it all the way. The serrated blades, I do not like them. They said, oh, this is good for cutting paracord and things like that. But what I have found is that it mangles up paracord pretty bad. So I'm not even going to demonstrate it. It's just pretty awful in my opinion. But some people love these blades. Okay. So, kind of take that with a grain of salt, as they say. So, okay, I want to close this. Well, this is what they recommend. Partially open it up or open it all the way. Depress the black lever so it comes up like this, and you can push that. Don't go too far because you hit your finger, right? So you can close it like that. And you can close this up, put it away, or open it up another tool. Now, say I do it the way that a lot of people online are recommending. Okay, so I got like this. And they say, well, just partially open it up another tool. That's going to open this locking lever up a little bit, and then you'll be able to close it. And it does work. For me, it's kind of hard to get everything on this side of the tool open, so I'm going to do this. I've just got this file from a 30-year-old multi-tool that eventually broke, and if I just open that up a little bit like this, then I can take my finger and get it. Now that's going to allow this to close. So let's talk about this. This is can opener. Worst can opener on any multi-tool I've ever had. I'm not even going to demonstrate it, but hey, buyer beware on this. And here's why. All right. This little part right there, which they tried to make so you would be able to open it up easier on the tool. Okay, let me get that closed. Okay, to open it up easier. Well, it's not working really good for me. I've got to use something to try to pry it up. So I'll use this, and I'll a little bit on the difficult side for me, but I get it up. This part gets in the way when you're trying to open your can. So as you're doing the actual process for opening the can, this part hits the can lid and stops it from moving. So it takes away some of your cut, and it keeps hitting. So you got to do a lot more of this motion to get your can open. To me, that is really awful. Worst one I've ever used. Okay, let's get the next one open. Go ahead and do this. And I don't recommend closing the blades like this. I've had a multi-tool that worked really good for a while, but I always did it like this, and next thing you know, the blades started closing on their own, and that's not good when you're talking about a knife blade closing on your finger. right? Because if I got it like this and I'm using it and the knife blade closes on my finger, that's not good, okay? Okay, so this screwdriver, yeah, screwdrivers work, okay? This is just your Phillips screwdriver, okay? And I can turn it either way to tighten or loosen a screw. So that works good. That works good, okay? Let's get the next part. Okay, so I'm getting this one. It's right next to it. This is the bottle opener or cap opener, and they put this part on here just like with the can opener, and I think that's just so it's supposed to make it easier to open up, but it doesn't in my opinion. Okay, this is a good bottle opener. I don't have any of these to get open, but this has worked really good. I've never had a problem with this. Okay, so let's go ahead and get the next one open, which is gonna be the scissors. All right, now, worst scissors on any multi-tool I've ever owned. I've got 10 multi-tools right now, and this is the worst scissors on by far. Now, what these are good for are threads. Like if I get a loose thread on my vest here, I might want to trim it, right? Just because I don't like the way it looks, or I don't want it running on me. Fishing line, as long as it's not a really heavy gauge fishing line. And things like dental floss. So this will work good on those, okay? But it's not good for anything bigger than that, okay? So let's go ahead and get this closed, and I'll just do it this way, like that. Now let's look at the other side. Now this is my favorite side here, okay? Most of the tools on this side are good. So let's start with this one. The plain blade, exquisitely sharp out of the package. I've used it for a year. I haven't had to resharpen it. I hone and strop quite often, but I haven't had to actually use a stone on it. Okay, and this works really good. Still razor sharp. So let me get the next one open. Notice how I've got a lot of things just coming open while I'm doing this. Okay, this is an awl. It's a sewing awl, but they say you can drill with it, but it's terrible for drilling. I don't recommend it. It's just terrible. Okay, but you got this eye hole right here, that small hole up on the top, and that is really good for putting your thread in. Okay, like maybe some heavy gauge thread, because you're going to want to put this through some really thick leather or through some canvas. I would not even put it through leather this thin. Okay, this is 1/8 inch. I wouldn't put it through stuff this thin because this makes a really, really sizable hole. Okay, but it is good for sewing thicker stuff, but it's going to make a big hole. So let's get our next one open here. And they're calling this the jewelry driver. And it's supposed to be good for your eyeglasses. Hey, you know what? I've tried it on my eyeglasses. It does not get these screws. It is too big for the screws on my eyeglass, too big for the screws on my watches. But what it is good for is if you have that watch where you have to pry the back off of it, then this is good for going into that little groove or slot and prying it. That works good for that, but it's no good for anything else that I've found. Okay. Oh, let's get the next part. Get this hook part here. They're calling a hook cutter. All right, I got the paracord from this. I want to show you something. Okay, this hook cutter. You say, oh, it's great for cutting your paracord and stuff, right? So I got some paracord here. Okay, I will try to cut this one. I get this in here. I have hardly used this because it sucks. Just so you know, watch this. Notice how my knuckles are like changing colors from how much pressure I'm using on this. Finally made it through. Mangled up the edges pretty bad, but it made it through. Seriously, this is awful. I don't know what they were thinking, but this is awful. Okay, so let's get the part on the other end. I can actually open the end part up good. This is the file. They call this a 3-in-1 file. Okay, they say this in here is actually good for sawing, but I got some softwood here. I'm not going to cut it because I'm going to get sawdust in my kitchen, but if I work for about 2 minutes, I can get about 1/8 of an inch. Seriously, not a good saw, okay? But let's look at it as a file. Really coarse, really coarse on both sides. So I'm going to be gouging up whatever I'm trying to file. But if I need to cut through, say, plastic or something like that quickly, as in a filing, like grinding stuff off of it, then that'll work good. Okay, I've done that, but it just looks like crap when I do it. Okay, but maybe it's just me. All right, so let's get that closed. Open up, pliers. Okay, they call these the 3-in-1 pliers. Let me just say, if I was going to use these pliers for stuff, the needle nose, regular plier part, they call this the wire cutter part right in here. And then down in here, in this part, would be the wire crimper. Seriously though, if you're going to be doing some wiring work, I would use an actual wire cutter, wire stripper for that. Okay? That's me. That's me. All right. So let's talk about using this for like a nut and bolt, right? Just this a little bit. So I can open this up and I can use this on here. This is actually pretty loose, so I'm going to tighten it up a little bit. Go finger tight with it. All right. So I can go with this, but it's awkward. It's really awkward. Look how far apart this part is. It's actually pretty awkward. If I've got to tighten it up a lot, there's no way I really want to do that, okay? This is kind of like a jack of all trades, master of none type thing, all right? But if I'm going to do something like this, where this tool really shines, the greatest thing on this tool right here, and I think every multi-tool should have this, that hex driver part right there, okay? Because anything that's got a 1/4-inch hex, I can put in there. You got to open it up a little bit though. Open it up a little bit, seat it in there, close it down, and it stays really good. Okay, really good. I'm not losing this at all. Okay, so now I can take pretty much any one of these screwdriver type bits, and if you buy a drill or even those little ratcheting screwdrivers, they come with lots of that stuff. Okay, so everybody probably has a bunch of that stuff just laying around. So I've got this one that's got my socket adapter on it, and I got a 7/16" deep socket, so that's going to be enough to go for this particular nut and bolt setup. I just put this in here, set that in, and I can turn it. And that's going to let me tighten it down. I can turn it the other way and loosen it up. Okay? So we're good to go on that. So this is where this tool really shines. It's the best thing on this tool right here. And I recommend using one of these with it, so you don't have to open it up every time I want to put a screwdriver bit in. Like I want to use this one here. Got to open it up, get it in there. Okay, I get done using it and I want to change to, say, a different screwdriver head or screwdriver bit. I got to open that up, get another one, put it in there, and I got to deal with that. And sometimes it's a little tricky, right? Sometimes it is. So I don't want to do that. My recommendation, really, use one of these things. Just keep one of these things handy. You got it like that. Then you can put those bits in this little magnetic holder, change them out however you want, and you're good to go. Okay. Now, got some other cool little stuff on here. They show, probably hard to see this, but they show this little protractor drawing here, and they also show that if you open it up, you got these little ruler increment things here. Okay, I'm going to show you on a still image this stuff because it's almost impossible to see. Okay, almost impossible to see on this tool, but on my still image, I zoomed it in a lot so you can see it. But here's some bad things. If I want to actually stretch this out, so I have this, say, 180 degrees, and I'm going to actually measure with this, then I've got that going on because of this part here. And you got to have this part because this part is part of the bit driver part. You got to have that on here. That's the best part of the tool. Okay, so Let's go to some still image. Okay, let's hit the statistical stuff on here. So this is a image from the package itself. And all this down on the bottom. Okay, they're saying the open length is 5 inches, closed length is 3.2, weight is 4.2 ounces. By the way, I measured and weighed this. They are slightly off, but not enough so to really worry about. Blade steel, I'm not very privy on all the different blade steels, but the plain blade on this one has maintained a good level of sharpness. It's still razor sharp after a year of use. And all I've got to do is some light stropping or light honing. I haven't had to actually sharpen. Okay. Finish is stone wash. I like the finish. I don't like them too shiny. Okay. Okay, so let's take a look at some of these things on here. First of all, anything that's used for like wiring, electrical, electronic work, I'd use an actual electronics or electrical wire stripper, wire crimper, wire cutter, that type thing. This tool is a jack of all trades, master of none, as Bill Shakespeare would say. Okay, so let's basically think of some of this here. I'm going to go to number 1. Needle nose pliers, they're okay. I haven't really had to use them too much. The thing they're saying is the soft wire cutter, it's actually the bolt gripper. Their little labels are off a little bit. Okay, so if you can see my cursor moving a little bit in the middle of the screen, that's the actual wire cutter. And the wire crimper is this area down below here. Okay. The thing they say is a protractor, that is gimmicky. I'm going to show you why this is terrible in a few minutes. Okay. Scissors, not that great. Okay. I will talk about the scissors in another part of the video. Straight blade is really good. The rulers, like the inch ruler, that's number 4. The rulers are on the black part where the lever lock is. So the inch ruler and millimeter ruler, really I would not rely on those at all. I don't think they're that good. Okay, not that they're not accurate, it's just they're not really long enough and they're hard to read in my opinion. Okay, all the different little bits and blades we're going to talk about at length. So I'm not going to worry too much about going over those right now. Okay. But they do mention this as compound leverage mechanism, magnetic bit holder, 18 heavy duty tools. Now look, a lot of these are gimmicky, just so you know, okay? For example, the protractor number 16, that is gimmicky, okay? The rulers are gimmicky, okay? They're having these things on there and they mark them, and they're pretending that these are useful tools so they can say they have 18 tools instead of saying we have 12 tools. That way it looks like it's, you know, something somebody's going to want to have as opposed to another multi-tool they could have, which might be better for them. Okay, so they've got some gimmicky stuff on here. Okay, like the can opener, that is really terrible. Okay, it's the worst can opener I've ever used on a multi-tool. So they mention all this though, but this tool, what really makes this tool worth having is number 18, magnetic bit holder. Okay, so looking at the protractor, this is zoomed in a lot. Okay, if you don't zoom it in, you need a magnifying glass really to being able to read it, and it's not accurate anyway. I would not rely on this if I've got to have, you know, an actual important or exact measurement. Okay, gimmicky, that's what I was saying. This is zoomed in even more, so look how it's not really clear or readable actually. Okay. Okay, in this middle area down here under the compass icon, all this black stuff, that's lubricant from the factory, and it took me quite a while to get that stuff out because it would stain pockets, it stains your hand. Not very good. Okay, just a view from the other side, same kind of thing. Okay, they say 4.2 ounces. I got a really nice calibrated digital scale that said 4.25. Okay, so this is my measurement closed, and I'm about 3 5/16 to 3 3/8 of an inch. My thickness, including the pocket clip, is 7/8 of an inch, and the overall thickness is between 1 1/8 and 1 3/16.